to Lntv News Live. This is a 30-minute presentation of major news, views, interviews, background reports, and analysis shaping the destiny of Liberia, Africa, and our global village. It's Friday, February 22, 2019. My name is Zokoe Beslokon, and anchoring this edition of the program. In our top stories, special presidential task force on the mining disaster in Nimba County declares the area emergency zone as about 40 persons are reported dead. 4 collaborating opposition parties have signed a commitment on 3rd of Fame, solidify our democracy, a bold step towards successful collaboration. National Archives Board says there is a need to address the concern of government's deplorable records condition, and of the home front, the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo has made all the leaders of his political coalition pledge their allegiance to him. These stories plus many other developments are all coming up in the program Lntv News Live. But first, we are taking a short break to be back with the faces of the newsmakers. Welcome to Lntv News Live. The Special Presidential Task Force on a recent mining disaster in Tapeta District, Lower Nimba County, has released initial report on the disaster, disclosing that the total number of people trapped in the incident are still unknown. However, about 40 persons have been pronounced dead so far. According to the Executive Director of the National Disaster Management Agency, Henry Williams, the area has been illegally operated. As such, getting information is a huge challenge for them. The area has now been declared an emergency zone as security personnel have put in place stringent measures before entry. He spoke Thursday at MICAT regular press briefing.
Number of persons trapped is still unknown. However, it has been estimated that there's around 40 persons. The area has been illegally operated, therefore no information on the operators of the mine. The government has, since the incident, reported that the area should be declared a disaster zone, and this is now in place.
Meanwhile, on the issue of rescue and recovery efforts, Mr. Williams said due to the inaccessibility of the area mainly by means of roads, they are finding it difficult to dispatch a mechanized system to address the situation.
The rescue and the recovery effort on the retrieval, let me really report that we have not yet been able to dispatch, let's say, a mechanized system, let's say by using an excavator, because the place is really inaccessible. I mean, when I say inaccessible by road, it is footpath. So we are finding it difficult for the mechanized system to be used. Notwithstanding, we are doing everything to make sure that we can hasten the process by using the mechanized system. In that light, we mobilized 60 young men to carry out the manual retrieval. And to date, we have
collaborating opposition parties have signed a commitment under the theme Solidifying Our Democracy, a bold step towards successful collaboration. The agreement brought together Unity Party, Liberty Party, Alternative National Congress, and the All-Liberian Party. The political leader of the Liberty Party, Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence, firstly began by providing an overview of the mission of the collaborating parties.
As the day conscious-minded leaders of Liberia finally made a decision to think beyond self, think beyond party lines, think beyond ambition, and think collectively with one goal, which is Liberia beyond self. In June 2018, 3 opposition political parties, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the Alternative National Congress, started a conversation centered on addressing the greatest need of our country, which is leadership. Liberia has a huge leadership deficiency because great leaders with the same ideology and qualification have over the years been divided over political lines. In furtherance of our commitment, we agreed to speak with one voice on issues affecting Liberia, the social, economic, and political well-being of our people, and creating awareness for good governance.
Sorry for that break. Let's continue with the program. Meanwhile, reading a full statement on behalf of the party's ALP political leader, Benana Yuri said his collaboration is an affirmation of their commitment to promoting democracy.
As we will do today by the signing of this statement, we are soliciting the help of our people by the insistence of our continuation of this collaboration. We as a people must ensure that our political leaders put the interests of this country and the people of Liberia paramount to that of theirs. This collaboration is a further affirmation of our commitment to democracy and must be seen in that light by every one of us. Collectively, we represent 62% of the dedicated and patriotic people of this nation, as reflected in the November 2017 election results. This strength, which is increasing in bounds, must not be allowed to wither and dissipate along separate paths as we have pursued theretofore.
At the same time, former Vice President and political leader of the Unity Party, Joseph Boyka, says the opposition will continue to remain responsible in their criticism of the government.
As opposition, to act in a responsible way and to give the government and the country a chance to settle down and adjust. The 2017 elections were bruising and contentious. The country needed time to... We needed to reflect and the return to building our lives in our beloved country. You will bear witness to our activities as well as our appearances at public functions. We have endeavored to demonstrate our goodwill to this event, which we have a due rebuke from some of our supporters and supporters. However, as leaders, we are convinced we must set the tune.
The Director General of the Center for National Documents and Records Agency, C. Neile Detua, says there is a need to immediately address the condition of government's deplorable records condition. A recent survey conducted by the agency-trained employees showed that about 15 government-line ministries and agencies do not have good records system. The National Archive boss spoke Thursday in Monrovia.
Administration, in addressing this concern, we hired the services of architectural design group to prepare a blueprint of a multi-purpose national record center for the approval by the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Public Works and EPA, to which we have already sent copies to both the Public Works and EPA. This building, when financed by governments of Liberia International Partner and construction completed, will accommodate all of our national historical records and other vital records from various ministries, agencies, commissions, and public corporations to be permanently preserved under one roof. CNDR has also developed a 5-year strategic plan. In an effort to transform and modernize National Archives of Liberia, we have developed a 5-year strategic plan from 2019 to 2023 aimed at addressing most of the challenges of the National Archives, and if we succeed, that will put our National Archive on par with other archival institutions in Africa and the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, the Archive boss has disclosed plans by the agency to help address a situation by revamping a system to a modern one to ensure that it gets on par with her regional counterparts.
The exercise covers 15 institutions of government as follows: Ministries of Commerce, Finance, Development and Planning, Foreign Affairs, Information where we are, Public Works, Internal Affairs, Labor, Transport, Liberia Water, Sewer and Corporation, Liberia Agency for Community Development, General Service Agency, Social Security Welfare Corporation, Liberia Broadcasting System, LPRC, MCSS, respectively.
Well, if you have just joined us, this is a reminder that you are watching Lntv News Live, a 30-minute presentation of news, views, interviews, background reports, and analysis shifting the destiny of Liberia, Africa, and our one world. It's Friday, February 22, 2019. My name is Zokwe Beslokonen, anchoring this edition of the program. Let's recap our top stories. Special Presidential Task Force on the recent mining disaster in Lntv, Lower Nimba County, declares the emergency area as about 40 persons are reported dead. 4 collaborating opposition parties signed a commitment under the theme Solidifying Our Democracy, a bold step towards successful collaboration. National Archives boss says there is a need to address the concern of government's deplorable records condition. And of the home front, the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made other leaders of his political coalition pledge their allegiance to him. Lntv News Live takes a short break to to be back with more developments. Welcome back to the program. We continue with more developments. The Ministry of Labor, along with key government stakeholders, will in early March begin a major inspection of several businesses and institutions across the country. The 30-day joint nationwide exercise is part of government's regulation to employers nationally to comply with its policies in keeping with national regulatory framework. Samuel Wazi is Assistant Information Minister for Technical Services. He spoke at MICAD regular press briefing Thursday in Monrovia.
The Ministry of Labor informed the public, especially employers within the borders of Liberia, that beginning the month of March, which is next month, the Ministry will lead a 30-day joint nationwide inspection along with the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA, the Liberia Immigration Service, the LIS, and the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, NASCA, across the country, so as to ensure full compliance to regulations and policies of these respective institutions. The Ministry of Labor would like to encourage all of you employers across the country to ensure full compliance. While it is true that the government welcomes the idea of economic stakeholders actively contributing to revenue generation and the sustenance of our various institutions, but it's important for employers to know and understand clearly that you also owe the government one important thing, and that
Central Agricultural Research Institute CARI Director General Marcus Jones says his institution is working with the Chinese government to introduce a new variety of rice in Liberia. Speaking to Lntv News, Mr. Jones said there are lots of prospects for CARI to secure food despite challenges.
We do everything with rice. We eat rice in the day, in the night. Everything is rice. Even though we strongly believe that to be food secure, we need to diversify our food. But this is where everything about us Liberians, typical Liberians, rice, and we need to really make sure to improve that crop to be able to make national demand even go. Yeah, so our scientists here, our breeders, set up a hybridization plot with the Chinese to be doing, because the hybrid is such a way that if I give you the seed, you will have to come back to the center. It's not they are hybrid, they are from two different lines. They do the crosses. So if you grow this and get 15 tons, I mean you have to come by, the scientists have to do similar work and then give you the seed to go by, and that makes it difficult for our farmers. So we're trying to see how we can work with the Chinese and get all of the technology, and then we can introduce hybrid, which is high yielding, to our resource poor farmer, and then they can run to CARI instead of looking up to China to supply the seed.
So it's a first of call.
Yeah.
For his part, the head of crops program at CARI, James Dolo, said the new breed of rice will go a long way in securing food in Liberia.
So at CARI we decided to breed to cross rice that have the gene for iron toxicity tolerant with some good materials, some improved materials, so that those lines, after we have crossed it and evaluated it, all right, we can now give it to the farmers to be growing in this area like this, the iron toxicity environment. So this is dry high. This is the 6th generation. So from here we should be conducting something called a multi-locational trial or a coordinated field trial.
The president of the Federation of Liberian Youth Fly, Amos Williams, has challenged young people to now take charge of the sector and be positively aggressive in their undertakings. Mr. Williams, speaking at the official launch of the Youth for Change National Debate Tournament, noted that it is about time the future leaders of the country take responsibility for their action and be more focused on how they package their stories for the benefit of the society.
We as a generation need to take charge of the good things we're doing for ourselves. We need to be aggressive in how we can package our story and how we can let the world know that we're doing a lot of good things. Whenever I have the time to sit with the older people, they reference how the 70s, the 80s, and whatever was good. Today, when you sit with them, they have a lot to say about our time. I wonder whether it's that we are taking responsibility of our time, or they should be held responsible for our time.
Meanwhile, the executive director for Youth for Change, Alex Divine, says the initiative is intended to promote government's drive mainly in the educational sector. Alex pointed out that his institution is helping to promote academic excellence aimed at making a big difference in society.
Our government, through the issue there, you know, the football, the county sports meet, it was meant to unite our people. What we're doing here is meant to encourage academic excellence across the country. And so we're just complementing the government effort through the Ministry of Education to make sure that the issue of education is a priority and it's a must. I always told people my major challenge is not money. You know, money will come. My major challenge is how do we distinguish ourselves from the many bad news about young people. There are many bad news that are spread across. Many people don't trust young people anymore. Don't trust our initiative. Don't trust our ability to lead or to probably handle programs constructively. So how do I distinguish myself? How do we distinguish Youth for Change? To say, look, we are different from the many other bad news you've heard about other youth organizations. That is where our challenge is. And I think over the past 5 years, I think the question about our integrity, our credibility, and our ability to lead, I think those questions have been answered along the way.
Swiss-based development organization Bread for All, Green Advocates International, Alliance for Rural Democracy, and Natural Resource Women Platform have jointly launched a report demanding remedy for community members in Margibi, Grand Bassa, and Bon counties. The report, titled Struggle for Life and Land, shows affected communities in Afuri communities allegedly suffering from the loss of their customary and deeded lands due to forceful eviction and destruction of their towns and villages. Simpson Snow is the program manager for Alliance for Rural Development. He read the report on behalf of the groups.
The report, entitled Struggle for Life and Land, shows that the affected communities in the 3 counties have continued to suffer from the loss of the customary and deeded lands due to forceful eviction and destruction of their towns and villages, pollution of water sources, desecration of shrines and sacred places, harassment, intimidation, arrest, and detention of human rights defenders. The report further shows that people in many of the communities covered by this report were not sufficiently consulted about the plantation expansions, did not give their consent, and were forcefully evicted from the customary lands. Where compensation payments were made for loss of crops and houses, they were in most cases insufficient to compensate for the losses incurred.
Let's now bring you our international development. The former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made all the leaders of his political coalition pledge via allegiance to him. Joseph Kabila called for the 18 leaders who make up his FCC coalition to his farm outside the Congolese capital Kinshasa. One by one, they sat before Mr. Kabila and signed a document in which they reaffirmed their loyalty to him. We have a report.
Indication that his political story is not over. Joseph Kabila, the ex-president of Democratic Republic of Congo, on Wednesday made that the leaders of his FCC coalition sign a loyalty pledge. Kabila's Common Front for Congo remains the strongest force in parliament, garnering an overwhelming majority of seats in the December 30th vote, which yielded a presidential win for opposition leader Tshisekedi. Nearly a month after the reins officially changed hands, newly retired Kabila gathered the leaders of the coalition's 18-member parties at his farm in Kingakati, near Kinshasa, the FCC said in a statement. We reaffirm our faithfulness and our loyalty to His Excellency Joseph Kabila Kabange, Honorary President of the Republic.
Well, this is how we come to the end of that international report. Let's now recap our top stories. That's the Special Presidential Task Force on the recent mining disaster in Lntv, Nimba County declares the area emergency zone as about 40 persons are reported dead. 4 collaborating opposition parties signed a commitment under the theme Solidifying Our Democracy, a bold step towards successful collaboration. National Archives boss says there is a need to address the concern of government's deplorable records condition. And of the home front, the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made other leaders of his political coalition pledge their allegiance to him. Well, this is how we come to the end of the program, Lntv News Live. Many thanks to you all for your viewing role. Many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, technicians, switchers, and editors for making this package a success. Lntv News Live is a production of the television department of the Liberia Broadcasting System. This program comes on every Monday to Friday with the early edition at 10 to 10:30 in the morning and the late edition at 8 to 8:30 in the evening. On behalf of the entire television staff, my name is Zokoi Beslokonen. I've been anchoring this edition. Have a pleasant weekend. Bye-bye for now.